remember about that recruitment, and was it harder to get to Lincoln than it might have been to get to other places because of just how the weird placement of it on the map? And do you think that had anything to do with your inability to get there on an unofficial visit to really kind of see the place?
Not really. Coach Beck actually recruited me when he was there, and I think we had a strong relationship. I mean, I wanted to go to a place where I don't know. I didn't think at the time like Nebraska was a place for me. I mean, I just didn't really have a desire to go to Nebraska really. So it wasn't more of like where it's at on the map or anything like that. Like I think I had a great relationship with Coach Beck, but it wasn't, I guess, a place for me that just drew my attention.
JT, how much has Dwayne grown in the last year?
How much has he grown?
Has he grown enough?
I mean, I think he's grown a lot. I don't enough. It's almost like there's an end, like you stop running or something. But I think he's grown a lot as far as you know, really understanding the inner workings of our offense and you know, trying to, I guess, get to a place where he understands what everybody's doing on each and every play. He's still developing that aspect of playing quarterback. And then I think one area that we challenge him to do is make sure he's vocal. And, you know, because I think that's something that he didn't really have to do much in high school. It's kind of something that, you know, I wouldn't say he shot away from it earlier. Now he's really trying to embrace that. And so we're pushing him in that area of really being vocal and making sure you're that leader vocally as well.
He's not talking to us this week. He's not available this week, but you get a sense, obviously he committed to Maryland. You get a sense of how important this game is to him and how much you'd like to get in there?
Nah, I guess I never thought about it. But I bet there's definitely you know, something there for him being that he was committed to Maryland. So I'm not sure.
JT, we've talked a lot about the deep ball with you throughout maybe your career. I know that a lot goes into
it. That deep ball.
I know that the offensive line has things to do, the wide receivers have things to do. For a quarterback, what do you work on to improve the way you throw the deep ball? Is it a drill? Is it film? Like, what goes into it just for you?
I mean, it's I think one of the main things is landmarks, since, you know, as the ball gets pushed further down the field, the less percentages of it being completed.
Yeah.
So understanding that a lot of times you have to place landmarks for receivers like, hey, I need you here on, you know, whatever deep route it is, so they have an understanding where they're going. So I think that's probably one of the main things you try to focus on as quarterback, is get there in certain timing, and then so timing of it, and then at the end of the day, let the receiver touch the ball.
It seems like every time you throw one that's incomplete, people freak out, and yet Coach Day said that the goal was just 50% on those throws.
Yeah.
Is that? You also said on Saturday night that you want to complete every pass. How does that mindset work when you're taking those shots and you're not going to hit them all?
Yeah, I'm not going to hit them all. I always want to complete every pass, so I strive to do that. And then understanding, like, there's going to be an incompletion every now and then. So it's not like, I mean, that's like how it is. I don't know. Like, you shoot for 50%, which is great when it comes to stretching the ball downfield. And a lot of people don't even shoot for 50%, they shoot for 40 because that's how that works.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, do you consider a deep ball that's on somebody's hands and the play's either not caught or called back, do you consider that a success? Meaning if you've thrown a deep ball on target, you know what I mean, when you look back and analyze things?
I mean, if I could do my job better, I'm gonna put it on myself. Not like, my job is to make everybody else's job a little easier. So I mean, I guess it depends on the situation, but I mean, if there's a time where I could, you know, put it where he only could get it, then I'll do that. And then there's other times where I have to let the ball out and put it to a spot, and he has then do his job and go up and make the catch.
I guess my point is
about the Johnny Dixon play, right?
Huh? I'm talking about 3 plays where balls were right there, and for whatever they either weren't called or it was called back. And I'm just wondering, sort of that, it seemed like that monkey would be off your back about the deep ball, if you understand what I'm saying, if those had been.
I'm really just shocked why we keep on talking about it. Like, how many did we complete the other day? Like 3 or 4?
Yeah.
So it's like, what's up? Like, yo, I'm asking y'all, like, what?
I think people want to see it against Penn State.
Well, best believe we're going to keep on working on it, you know, like,
I mean, it's a big conversation topic to fans, and I don't know if they can believe that it's different until you do it against a team that has a chance to compete.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I hear them. I was just a little confused why we keep on talking about it.
Because we saw success with it on Saturday.
Yeah. So I mean, we're going to take our shots. I think in the past we didn't. So in the past, so I guess to help the fans out. So in the past we didn't complete it in practice. Like in practice it was awful. So in the game we didn't call it because it was awful in practice. So we don't do things that don't work in practice in a game. That just doesn't make any sense. So we've gotten a lot better, so we do it because we have gotten a lot better. So the success is happening in practice against our DBs, which I think is one of the top defensive backs in the country. So now we're calling it in a game, and we're not going to complete every one. In practice, we don't complete every one. So with that, that's I guess the whole story of what was happening in the past few years when the conversation of people like it wasn't working in practice, so we're not calling it a game. So now it's, you know what I'm saying, we're making the plays in practice, we're calling it in the game, and we'll continue to call those things in the game, and we're going to miss some, but there's been success of it. So, I mean, as far as is it going to work against Penn State, I have all the confidence in the world that we're going to make plays when it's time for that, but we're not worried about Penn State. We're talking about Maryland and, you know, focus on Maryland, and we have to make those plays against Maryland, being that they're line structure, they play man, and there's opportunities for that. So let's slow our roll.
I hate to change the subject. I hate to change the subject, JT, but when was the last time you talked to Tom Herman? Because watching Texas, they had a little bit of success against that Maryland secondary.
I talked to him right before they had their, so they were in their bye week, right before Iowa State. I talked to him and Coach Ben.
So do they have any thoughts on how to beat the Terrapins? Because like I said, they were rather successful in that game.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we didn't talk much football, but when I talked to him after the Texas game, it was more of a conversation of they wanted to clean things up, special teams. I think that was a game where there was a lot of special team touchdowns, and so that's he was, I guess, upset about the special teams. So that was really the conversation that we didn't really talk about.
So to clarify, he was seeking your special teams advice?
Nah, I don't got special team advice, you know. You'll see Kerry Combs.
What do you one last question. It appears your receivers are playing with like sort of an edge now that maybe, I mean, I was talking to Johnny Dixon about it, and you see Terry McLaurin blocking behind you, and of course there was a lot to that story, but on your long run it got called back, but Terry had an edge to him the other night. Do you see that developing in that group? I mean, I call it almost a nasty streak, which is not bad in football, but Urban Meyer sees kind of the same thing. But what's just your view of that group?
I think Coach Meyer's trying to drive that out on everybody, really, like, I mean, it's almost like what we talk about is like, it's okay to be, nasty or kind of gritty and have something to you when it comes to playing football, and then outside when we go to class and go about daily social activities, like you can be a nice guy, but you don't have to be nice on the football field. So he's addressing that with everybody, because I think, I mean, our game is very violent and there's a lot of passion behind it. So I think if anything, he's trying to drive that passion to come out of people. And I think that's something that the receivers showing. I mean, you see it on defense all the time with the energy and the enthusiasm they have. You ever see the guys flying around. So I think he's just trying to strive that out of everybody as far as players, and then also the coaches.